Hello and welcome to the show. This is Addis Dialogue from Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation with me, Gzachew Derib. BRICS Plus member states or heads of states gathered in Kazan, Russia. Currently, they have discussed on multilateral issues regarding the ongoing global status quo and global order, under the theme of strengthening multilateralism for global development and security. Challenging the status quo of the global order is the main goal of BRICS Plus. They gathered in Kazan, they discussed on multilateral issues. Ethiopia is also a member of BRICS Plus. What political and diplomatic engagement as well as success Ethiopia has achieved being a member of BRICS. With me in the studio, Dr. Meisa Elema, political science and international relations analyst, is with me. Welcome to EBC.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Good to see you here in the studio.
Okay.
Let's discuss about BRICS Plus, member states gathered in Kazan. What is BRICS for Ethiopia?
Before discussing about BRICS and the existing conditions that Ethiopia is having for joining BRICS, we have to just remember two basic issues.
Okay.
Number one, Ethiopia has been playing a pivotal role in international relations so far. So historically speaking, Ethiopia's place in creating and participating in regional and global organizations is really long-standing and historic, number one. So we do have experiences to share that brought us to BRICS. When they think about Ethiopia, the gravity that brought us to join BRICS by itself, it is deeply rooted in our historic creation, the participation of different organizations, number one. Number two, we are operating in a very dynamic world. The power has been shifting in two ways. Number one, the world is, the global political order is experiencing power transition. Power transition in terms of the world has been relied on unipolar global order since the end of Cold War, which has been mainly monopolized by the West world, especially by the US, and the emerging economies with about total population of the world has been coming up with different interventions. Number one, the world is experiencing power transition. Number two, amazingly, the world is experiencing power diffusion.
Power diffusion. Okay.
Power diffusion is the power that has been controlled by the state and the government so far has been transcending to several individual or what we call
state actors,
non-state actors. For example, if you take media, if you take science and the technologies and so forth. So Ethiopia joining BRICS, the Ethiopia's joining BRICS has taken place, has taken these two conditions as crucial points. So when we discuss about BRICS, two things are still pivotal.
Okay.
Number one, Ethiopia's importance to BRICS. Our geopolitical location in the Horn of Africa in particular, and in the eastern part of Africa in general. Number two, Ethiopia's tremendous, natural resource.
Okay.
And Ethiopia's largest population next to Nigeria in Africa. Not only the largest population, but also fresh and a kind of productive population. On the other hand, the emerging economy, which has been ranked as the third economic power in sub-Saharan country, has brought us, to take advantage to join these BRICS. On the other hand, what brought us to BRICS is that BRICS, as a multilateral organization, I would like to use the word democratic.
Democratic.
So BRICS has appeared to be most democratic and flexible than the existing
Status
in a
quo, global
national.
order.
Yes. So it is not only our immense power that brought us to joining BRICS. It is also the BRICS flexibility and the BRICS democratic nature that brought us to join the BRICS multilateral cooperation.
How did Ethiopia reach this in terms of diplomatic trajectories, the challenge, the ups and downs? How do you see it?
I have shared this view in Afan Oromo previously. During the summit, took place in South Africa, Johannesburg, Ethiopia was struggling to be a part of this BRICS alongside different other countries. So the very hard thing to join BRICS is that the member states, the existing member states, all of the existing member states should decide.
Okay.
Should allow.
All have equal voice.
Equal voice. There is nothing as majority vote. So that makes hard to not only Ethiopia, to other nations to join. So our Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed, has played a crucial role in convincing each country independently, in convincing those emerging economies in terms of what Ethiopia means for them, not only for Ethiopia. So if they lacked Ethiopia, what they could lack economically, politically, and in other issues. So the active and the proactive role that was played by PM Abiy was tremendous, as the countries should be convinced so that we could join BRICS. Number two is that in all ups and downs, we do have issues that could convince those nations. As I have already said, Ethiopia is a great nation, possessing historic, pre-existing experiences of establishing and taking part in different international organizations. Number two is our current significance to those emerging economies. For example, BRICS, as you know, Britain, Brazil, Russia,
India,
China, India, and South Africa. Those are all the countries that are producing surplus productions in terms of industry, in manufacturing, and including agriculture. So they need markets. It is give and take. It is a win-win approach. So bringing Ethiopia to join this multilateral cooperation is by itself has some blessing for them.
For them, okay.
For them. So on the other hand, Ethiopia is emerging economy with fresh,
younger population.
Young population and tremendous natural resource. So those all helped us to join and to break through these challenges and to be part of these BRICS. I want to add something before
proceed to the next question.
Okay. What has BRICS brought to Ethiopia? We have to ask and answer.
Okay.
I have already said, for any nation to join BRICS, this emerging multilateral cooperation, there should be the decision of all member states. So Ethiopia will be counted as a counted, decision maker within this coalition.
Okay.
So any nation
who wanted to join BRICS
will be talked to Ethiopia too. So Ethiopia's significance has appeared to be very huge.
The diplomatic leverage and the clout Ethiopia has got today has...
you said it very well.
Great. The Global South, majority of Global South, we can take the OSCE, Organization of Southern Cooperation, which is part of BRICS also. How did it can bring all Global South countries and member states to have strong unified solidarity? What
brings those nations together is the cause they share in common. The cause they share in common is that they all are fighting for inclusivity the existing international organizations. For example, if you take United Nations Security Council, Africa, with more than 1.2 billion people, we are still asking to join, to have seat, to be heard in that part. So the South-South cooperation will leverage that part.
Okay.
So if you come up with another option, there is a chance that you would be listened to in the already status quo states. So number one, the cause brought them together.
Good.
The cause of inclusivity, being represented. The representation is not only the physical representation, not only participating in meetings and nominal and so on. The representation that has the counted vote. So the cause is undergoing now, coming up with tremendous influence, number one. Number two, even though these existing organizations could take time to allow others to be represented, a kind of multilateral organizations like BRICS are creating the room for themselves to do their business altogether.
Okay. Recently, we have heard that reforming the United Nations Security Council is a must. This is a call of a time. Representing Africa in that chair is of two double standard. It says Africa should be represented in United Nations Security Council, but has no veto power, which means second-class participation, as the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has clearly put it. Regarding the future aspirations of BRICS, what challenge do you anticipate?
I think I have already tried to mention the world has now categorized into two categories. Number one, the so-called the status quo states.
The status quo, yeah.
The status quo states are struggling to preserve the already established status quo. That means the
hegemony
of the West.
Yeah.
The second one are, those who are struggling to observe change, inclusivity, and cooperation in those, including organizations. So it is not an easy job to be represented with accountable vote in United Nations Security Council if those powers, those who are working for unipolar powers should not revisit their positions. Asking could not make any change. But, you struggle, you request, and you also come up with another options, and you make immense measures, pressures, and so on. Ultimately, that will happen.
Okay, so challenging the status quo is a must.
Yes.
Ethiopia joined BRICS. This is the time of give and get. It has political implications, economic implications, social implications vis-a-vis give and get, and moving back and forth there. What sort of significance Ethiopia's role will be in the future in terms of market economy or in terms of economic reforms that the Ethiopia government has undergone recently, the de-dollarization or whatever you may name it?
As we listened from the speech delivered by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed the day before yesterday in the BRICS summit in Kazan in Russia, the Prime Minister apparently called for Africa's representation. We have already discussed it.
Yeah.
Ethiopia is undertaking a massive economic reform, which will unify the informal market with the formal market. So this opening up, as already been experienced in other world, has the power to bring not only domestic investors to different economic sectors to invest, but also it could play a significant role in in bringing foreign direct investment to Ethiopia. So foreign direct investment will come with tremendous exchange for our domestic economic growth, as we have already begun to go to economic, rise. So the economic reform by itself has a tremendous contribution to bring those BRICS countries to Ethiopia. And also, if you take trade and marketing, and on the other hand, the issue that we have to discuss here is now, the BRICS nation is coming up with, has already established the new development bank. This development bank will inclusively, support member states for their infrastructure development. Ethiopia, being a full member of BRICS, will not only have the chance to borrow or to get a loan from this organization, has also, endowed with the countable vote and the countable decision to allow this also process. So we will really going to observe different things in the future.
So regarding economic reform, Ethiopia has undergone or embarked on the loans without conditionalities. Any points you wanted to add before we sum up our discussion?
So anything I want to add is that Ethiopia's joining of BRICS is an historic breakthrough. So any Ethiopian, you might be a member of or leader of opposition party, or might be, belong to the leading party or the ordinary nation. We have to stand together to support Ethiopia's significance on regional and the global stage, to realize and reaffirm our national pride and our international presence, not only presence, our international, decision making.
Dr. Mesa Ilema, Political Science and International Relations Analyst, thank you very much for your analysis and the insight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Viewers and listeners, by this we end our today's program. You can follow on different social medias of Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation. Until we meet with another edition of program, goodbye for now.